Welcome to the Department of Collegiate and Technical Education, and also welcome to the video lecture series on the course Strength of Material under the Learning Management System. The subject Strength of Material consists of 6 modules or the 6 units, and the different units are the simple stresses and strains, moment of inertia, shear force and bending moment diagrams, theory of simple bending, strain energy and impact loading, and the last one is torsion of shafts. And the content of unit 1 or the chapter 1, that is simple stresses and strains, are so what is the simple stresses and strains definitions, what are the different types of stresses, and what is the elastic limit, what is the plastic limit, and what is elasticity, plasticity, Hooke's law, shear modulus, modulus of elasticity, bulk modulus, Poisson's ratio, temperature stresses, and the stress strain diagram, and the relation between the 3 elastic constants like Young's modulus, bulk modulus, and the shear modulus. So in the session 1, so we will cover the syllabus like the definition of stress and strain, and what are the different types of stresses, and what are the different types of strains, and what is the elastic limit, what is elasticity and plasticity. So before going to the actual content of the unit, that is the topic simple stresses and strains, we will have a brief introduction about the subject strength of material. Then what is the strength of material? A detailed study of forces and their effects along with some suitable protective measures for the safe working conditions is known as strength of material. The subject strength of material is also called as mechanics of materials or the mechanics of deformable bodies. Why we call it as the mechanics of deformable bodies? In statics and dynamics, the rigid bodies are taken into consideration, while in strength of material, so the forces are acting onto the deformable body, and due to forces acting on the deformable body, what are the changes which are going to take place in the body is taken into study. So the body which will undergo deformation due to the external forces acting on it is called deformable body. That is, body which will changes its shape and size due to forces acting on it are called as the deformable bodies. So the strength of material is the basic subject of engineering, and that deals with the different types of forces that act on the body and what are their effects. In general, we are going to studying the different types of forces which are acting on the body. They may be a tensile force or compressive force, that may be a shear force, or it may be a twisting moment, or it may be a bending force. And due to these forces, what are the changes which are going to take place in the body are going to be studied in detail. In this subject, we will study the basic concepts of stresses that are induced in a body due to the application of force. This subject strength of material or the mechanics of materials is mainly concerned with the methods for finding the stresses and the deflections or the deformation produced in the body. It also provides the means for determining the load carrying capacity, that is known as strength, and the induced deflection or the deformation produced in the body. The different types of forces. The different type of forces are axial forces, shear forces, bending forces, and torsion. The forces which are acting along the longitudinal axis of the member or the bar are called as the axial forces. The axial forces may be tensile force or it may be compressive forces. So these tensile and compressive forces are the forces whose line of action are lying in the same line, and so they are acting on the axis of the member or the material which is taken into consideration. Then the shear forces. The forces which are acting tangentially onto the body as a result of which the shear off takes place across the resisting section. Such forces are called shear forces. So the forces whose line of action are not lying on the same line, so they are called as the shear forces. Then what is the bending force? The force which is acting perpendicular to the longitudinal axis of the bar, and as a result of which the body deflects or the bends from its original position. Then the torsion. Due to torsion is the twisting effect produced due to the external forces. Now we'll start the actual content of the syllabus. That is the first unit, simple stresses and strains. In that we'll first define the term stress. Stress is the measure of internal resistance in a material subjected to external force or load. Is a measure of internal resistance in a material subjected to external force or the load acting on the body. Or we can define the stress in this way: the force of resistance per unit area offered by a body against the deformation due to external force acting on it is known as stress. So the load is applied on the body externally while the stress is induced in the material of the body. Stress is represented by the Greek letter, that is sigma. Mathematically we can write the equation for the stress. Therefore stress sigma is equal to P by A, where sigma is the stress or intensity of stress, P is the load acting on the body or the force acting on the body, A is the cross-sectional area of the body. The cross-sectional area will be different for different sections of the member. If the section of a member is of circular in shape or circular section having a diameter d, then the cross-sectional area will be pi by 4 into d square. If the member is of rectangular section having the sizes B and T, that is breadth B and the thickness T, then the cross-sectional area will be A is equal to B into T. And if the cross-section of a member is of square shape having a side of size S, then the cross-sectional area of the square section will be S into S or S square. Unit of stress. The unit of stress depends on the unit of force acting on the body and the cross-sectional area of the body. So the units of load may differ, may be different. It may be in Newton or kilonewton, or it may be in meganewton or giganewton, and the cross-sectional area may be in meter square or mm square. Depending on the unit of load and the unit of cross-sectional area, we can write the unit of stress corresponding to the units of load and area. In SI units, the unit of load is expressed in Newton and the cross-sectional area is in square meter or meter square. Hence, the unit of stress is Newton per meter square. The unit of stress may be written in Pascal or bar, kilopascal, megapascal, or kilonewton per meter square or meganewton per meter square. So 1 bar is equal to 1 lakh pascal or 100 kilopascal. It is briefly written as kPa. K stands for kilo. If it is written MPa, M stands for megapascal, and 1 pascal is equal to 1 Newton per meter square. Then the second important term in this chapter is strain. It is a measure of deformation produced by the influence of stress. When a body or whenever a member or whenever a component is subjected to a force or a system of forces, then it undergoes a deformation. That deformation per unit length is called the strain. Or we can define the strain in this way also: the ratio of change in dimension of a body to the original dimension of the body. Or you can write the ratio of change in length of the body to the original length of the body. Strain is a dimensionless quantity and it is expressed by a small letter, that is E or epsilon. So therefore strain is equal to change in length by original length and is equal to delta L by L, where delta L is the change in length and L is the original length. Types of stresses. Generally, the stresses are classified into two types. They are normal stress and the shear stress. Normal stress, the stress which acts in a direction perpendicular to the area, is called normal stress. The stress which acts in a direction perpendicular to the cross-sectional area, and they are called as the normal stresses, and it is represented by letter F or the sigma. Normal stress includes tensile stresses and compressive stresses. Then what is the tensile stress? When a body is subjected to two equal and opposite pulls, as a result of which the body tends to increase in its length, then the stress induced in it is called tensile stress. Or you can define tensile stress in this way also: when a body is subject to tensile force, then the stress induced in the body due to tensile force acting on it is called tensile stress. Tensile force is given by the equation sigma is equal to P by A, where sigma is the tensile stress, P is the tensile load acting on the body, and A is the cross-sectional area. Similarly, we can define the compressive stress. When a body is subjected to two equal and opposite pushes, so in case of tensile stress, the body is subjected to two equal and opposite pulls. And here in compressive stress, when a body is subjected to two equal and opposite pushes, as a result of which the body tends to decrease in its length or the body tends to shorten in its length, then the stress induced is called compressive stress. Or you can define the compressive stress in this way also: the stress induced in a body when the body is subjected to compressive force is called compressive stress. So therefore compressive stress sigma is equal to P by A, where sigma is the compressive stress and P is the compressive load and A is the cross-sectional area. Then the second type of stress is the shear stress. When a body is subjected to two equal and opposite forces acting tangentially, as a result of which the body tends to shear off across the section, then the stress induced is known as shear stress. Here the forces acting on the body are not lying in the same line, and their line of action is different, and they are pulling the body in the transverse direction, as a result of which the body tends to shear off across the resisting section. So from this figure, the resisting section is the cross-sectional area of the rivet. So P is the forces, tangential forces, which are acting on the two plates which are overlapped one over the other, and as a result of which, so the rivet may shear off across the resisting section. So in the figure B, the shearing of the parting of the rivets is shown. So the shear stress is represented by the symbol tau, and therefore shear stress is given by the equation. Therefore shear stress is equal to shear force or the tangential force divided by shear area, and the unit of shear stress is also same as that of the tensile stress or the compressive stress or the normal stress. Then what are the different types of strains? depending upon the type of stresses induced in a body, the corresponding strains are produced and are classified as tensile strain, compressive strain, volumetric strain, and shear strain. That means when a body is subject to tensile force, as a result of which the tensile stress is induced and the corresponding tensile strain is produced in the body. When a body is subjected to compressive force, the stresses induced are of compressive stresses and the strain is of compressive strain. So we'll define one by one, that is tensile strain. If there is some increase in length of a body due to external force acting on it, then the ratio of increase in length to the original length of the body is known as tensile strain. Generally, we will define the strain as the change in dimension by original dimension. But especially while defining the tensile strain, we should mention the word increase in length because the body is subject to tensile forces, as a result of which increase in length will take place. Therefore, the ratio of increase in length to the original length is known as the tensile strain. Then what is the compressive strain? If the body is subjected to a compressive force, as a result of which the body tends to shorten in its length, then the ratio of decrease in length of the body to the original length of the body is known as compressive strain. So therefore, both the tensile strain and the compressive strains are given by the relation delta L by L only. The only difference is while defining the tensile strain, delta L is the increase in length, and while defining the compressive strain, delta L is the decrease in length. Volumetric strain. Just in one line only, you can define the volumetric strain. The ratio of change in volume of the body to the original volume is known as volumetric strain, or you can write it by elaborating the definition. When a body is subjected to a force or a system of forces, it will undergo deformation. A small change in the dimension of the body leads to change in the volume of the body. Then the ratio of change in volume of the body to the original volume is known as the volumetric strain. So therefore, volumetric strain EV is equal to delta V by V, where delta V is the change in volume and V is the original. What is the formula for original volume or the volume V? It is the product of cross-sectional area of the body and the length of the body. Therefore, V is equal to A into L, where A is the original, where A is the cross-sectional area and L is the length of the body. Then, what is the shear strain? The angular deformation per unit length in a body due to shear force acting on it is known as shear strain. When a body is subjected to tangential force or the shear force, as a result of which the angular deformation of the body will take place. So therefore, the angular deformation per unit length or the transverse displacement by the original length of the body is called as the shear strain. So therefore, from this figure, so the figure ABCD is, the base of the figure ABCD is fixed at the bottom and the tangential force is acting on the surface CD, as a result of which the cube ABCD is displaced from its original position to ABC1D1 with an angular deformation of phi. So therefore, shear strain phi is equal to DD1 or CC1 by L. We will define the terms like the elastic limit, elasticity and the plasticity. Whenever a body is subjected to a system of forces or a single force, it undergoes a deformation, and on the removal of the external forces, the body springs back to its original position. So this springing back to its original position is possible only if the deformation caused by the external forces is within a certain limit, and such a limit is called the elastic limit. If the deformation caused by the external forces are beyond the elastic limit, and the body will not be able to recover its original shape and size, and thereby it will reach a permanent deformation, that is the plastic deformation. So whenever a body is subjected to a system of forces or a single force, it undergoes deformation, definitely it will undergo, and on the removal of the external forces, the body springs back to its original position, and this is possible if the deformation caused by the external forces is within a certain limit, and such a limit is called as elastic limit. Then what is the elasticity? The ability of a material or a body or a member or a component to regain its original dimensions and the shape when external forces are removed is known as the elasticity. And then what is the plasticity? It is a property of a body to maintain its deformed shape and dimensions after removing the external forces is known as the plasticity. So in the plasticity, the permanent deformation will take place, and if the external forces are removed, the body will not be in a position to recover its original shape and size. So therefore the property of a body to maintain its deformed shape and dimensions after removing the external forces is known as plasticity. Multiple choice questions. So the first question is, strain is equal to, as we know, the strain is the ratio of change in length to the original length. So therefore the answer is B. The next question is, the property of a material to regain its original shape and size after the removal of external force is called elasticity. The ability of a material to retain its deformed shape and size after the removal of external forces is called what? Plasticity. The force of resistance per unit area offered by a body against the deformation due to external force acting on it is called, it is the definition of what? Stress. The ratio of increase in length to the original length is called, if the word increase is there, then definitely it will be a tensile strain. The ratio of decrease in length to the original length is called compressive strain. The ratio of change in volume to the original volume of a body is called volumetric strain. The angular deformation per unit length is called shear strain. The unit of strain is, what is the unit of strain? It is a dimensionless quantity, therefore the answer is D. The ability of material to resist its failure and behavior under the action of external forces is known as stress, strain, strength, or D, none of the above. The answer is strength. So thank you to the strength of material team.